What's up? What's good? What is happening? Welcome to the Sports Bar here at WTF Nation Radio. I am the actual King Smith, and we're going to come at you live tonight for a little bit of sports news, sports action, a little bit of sports analysis, the only way that we could do it here at WTF Nation Radio. I am a U.S. Air Force veteran, been on with WTF Nation Radio for a little bit over a year now. I think my anniversary episode is this episode. So I'm going to give a shout out to me for lasting one whole year and not getting kicked off by a station manager. I'm normally on live with a co-host who goes by the name of Coach. Coach recently lost his grandfather and is still taking care of some business and things with that. So Coach is not going to be on live tonight with me. Y'all get this lovely face for about the next hour or so. If there's a like button that is on your platform, do me a favor. Hit that like button, like the scrolling text is going to say here at the bottom here in a couple of seconds, as that helps us out on the algorithm. I'm not the only show at WTF Nation Radio. We have a host of other shows every night of the week, starting at 8 p.m. U.S. Eastern Standard Time Zone. I'm not going to display them or talk about them. Just come back tomorrow on the Monday edition as Ice does what he does best as our Monday night host, talking about all of the things on the Monday night edition. Tonight, I've got a couple of videos that I'm going to play that were sent in to my email address by you guys, the viewers. So if there's ever anything that you want to have displayed at WTF Nation Radio or to talk about, send it to king@WTFNationRadio.com or shoot me a DM or comment under any of our videos here at WTF Nation Radio, and we'll come on and talk about it. I'm looking at having a call-in show one of these Sundays. I always say it, but never do it. But it is going to be coming soon. What else do we have here today? We're going to talk about the NBA Cup, as this is its second season in full effect here. A lot of excitement that occurred, football, American football, the real football that occurred over the Thanksgiving break. Speaking of Thanksgiving, hope y'all enjoyed y'all's Thanksgiving. I know I did. I did a lot of eating, which shouldn't be a surprise, especially if you know me. A lot of football watching, and a lot of relaxing with some fun with other people sprinkled in between. Participated in a Thanksgiving, which was hilarious. There might be some video of me pretending to be a mafia don during this game night. That might be somewhere. I'm not going to tell you where, but it might be somewhere. Without further ado, let's see who we have in the building, and we'll get started. There was a technical issue. I don't know why. If your title is saying that we are doing sports trivia tonight, we are not doing sports trivia tonight. I was trying to make sure that I was able to go live as fast as I could, and something happened somewhere. So if it says trivia, we ain't doing it. We got Pete in the building. Pete just celebrated his 36th birthday. I want to say, so happy birthday to supporter of the show, my main man, the Greek Pete himself. He said, hey, brother, hey, man, let me give you a salute and a happy birthday to you, good sir. Shout out to Elliot D. Villarreal over on Facebook. He said, remember that it was bedtime, TV World, play national anthem, and sleepy time. If I'm translating this right, are you saying that you're going to watch TV for a little bit for the NFL kickoff of tonight's game between San Francisco and Buffalo, which is going on right now, Sunday night over on Peacock? You got San Fran traveling to New York, Buffalo, and the game will be on NBC or Peacock. Look, shout out to anybody that is in San Francisco and has never played in cold weather. If it's your first year in the league, chances are you haven't played in weather like how it gets up in Buffalo, especially if you're from like a southern school. If you are from a college that is typically a warm weather place and you have to experience your first cold weather game, good luck. I know that I was interested in going to the Ravens game tonight. I'm wearing my Ravens gear. We lost. Whatever. We lost. I don't want to talk about it. But I considered going to the game tonight. It was a 4:20 something kickoff. I wouldn't have gone live tonight if I would have gone to that game. And I'm glad I didn't, because not only was it stupid cold, but the Ravens ended up losing 2, dropping them to 8-5, and losing to the Saquon Barkley-led Philadelphia Eagles, who's not making as much money as Jalen Hurts. But if you ask me, he's probably the most important person on that team, and the reasons why Philadelphia Eagles is leading the NFC East anyway. They're not leading the NFC right now. The Lions are doing the damn thing, but Saquon Barkley is the most important person over there. But we'll talk American football a little bit later on. Shout out to God Happened to Me, said good evening as well. That is my boo thing. Hey, lady. Good evening. Thank you for tuning in. All right. Let's see. So let's get the first video out the way. This video was sent in to me by a viewer of the show and said, brother, you have to play this. So we are going to play this. This is something that I want y'all to think about: the Olympics. Think about the breakdancing competition. How many of y'all watched the breakdancing competition when it happened, right? I know I didn't, but there was a hilarious story that came out of that, in which this one lady went viral for all the wrong reasons. Apparently, she was a professional breakdancer, but if that's what a professional breakdancer is, then I'm a multi-millionaire. I'm just saying. All right. So there's something that I would rather petition to have come into the league. I'm sorry, come into the Olympics, and it is a mix of dancing and soccer. Take a view and tell me if you'd rather watch this instead.
This is not your average game of football, but the rules are the same. Except for one small detail: you have to dance at all times. When the match is over, you get points for both goals and your overall dance performance. So, you can actually win a match despite scoring fewer goals than your opponent.
Oh, we got a battle. We got a dance off. Did he just hump the football or the soccer? Wow. All right. So that apparently is a mix between soccer and dancing. I think I would rather see that in the Olympics than that one breakdancing event that had occurred, right? At least, like, let's say if you give me that event at the Olympics with a bunch of like 6-foot Amazonian women, sign me up. Pop Culture Warrior's in the building. He's our Tuesday night host. He said terrible, absolutely terrible. Let me tell you, I was feeling it. Man. They had the little disco music going. I was doing like this. You had somebody shaking their chicken cutlets. Hey, you know what? I'm gonna bring it back up on the screen. I'm not gonna play the audio, but let's see that one more time. Let me mute it so I don't get copyright stricken up in this joint. And we gonna play this again. Y'all watch it. New Olympic sport, baby. This right here, dancing and soccer. What was that first move? What's this? The kick and the twinkle toe? Do you not even play defense? I don't get it. And she don't have a lot of anything to shake back there. What is she shaking? This person's jumping up in the air like a ballerina. Oh, and look, they're doing a river dance in the background. Number 11, humping. Oh my goodness. Run that back. What is this? What is this? I wish I could zoom in. What is that? Does that get points? You know what I would do? I would field a team full of strippers, male and female strippers. All right, to go out there. Ain't nobody gonna care who scored what, because apparently you can win just from dancing. So hire some exotic male and female dancers, okay, and get them to go out there and play this game. I can guarantee viewership will go sky high. Guarantee it. That's a new sport right there. Strip soccer. Shout out to Captain Wayne Baconator Adjutant, said, my cat could break dance better, and it passed away a few years ago. Dang. I love it. Hey, man, I appreciate you popping in. It's always good to see you in the chat on any of the shows. And Spanky said, hey, y'all. What up? See, he said he would watch that. He would watch stripper soccer. Okay? Yeah, we can take this sport a step up by having strippers, men and women strippers, and a soccer ball, and judge it based off of your exotic dancing moves and how many points you get. Lingerie Football League needs new rules. Hey, have you ever been to a lingerie football game? I've been to one. It's now called the Champions League or something like that. They're trying to more legitimize it. I went to one over a decade ago, and it was a good time. It was definitely a good time. A good time was had. There was some hitting too. That was the part that kind of surprised me. I'm like, are they actually going to be tackling though? Because that's what I like to go see. I like to go see contact, right? And when I went, I was impressed by the contact that was happening and some of the athleticism from the people that was playing in bikinis and swimwear, essentially. All right. But I appreciate the person who sent that in. I said, I am going to play that video first. All right. So what else do we have here? Let's play another video to get us warmed up. You know, never underestimate your opponent. This next video that I've got here was also sent in from a viewer that said, I love the way this video ended. And I believe I can play the audio. If there's any music, I might have to mute it. But I want y'all to watch this handshake and watch how this young woman demolishes her opponent after he came out and did what he did. Let's take a watch.
She's definitely thinking, oh, I'm about to cook daddy. She's definitely thinking, oh, I'm about to cook daddy. This young boy's a gray belt, now he's a white belt. Let me show you how it went.
Be patient. Good.
Okay.
Good.
He winning for now.
Good job. Get on top here. There you go. Take the back. Good.
And he's done. He's done. He tapped.
Really stupid.
He crying now. Look at him. Look at him crying. Look at her. And she ran off like the Sonic. Hold on. So now I got to put it on mute. I can't play that again because it might get us copyright stricken. Look, he had the match early on, right? But right here is where he messed up. She got him in that, rear naked chokehold. He tapped. Okay. She gets off. He cried. He gonna cry in the car. Oh man, I love it. Look, I'm a person that's all about sportsmanship, right? We're showing up to compete. I expect to dominate. But if I don't and I take a L, it is what it is, whether it's an individual sport or a team sport, right? So show a little bit of sportsmanship, shake your opponent's hand at the beginning, and then proceed to demolish them. That is how it should be handled. I think other people would generally agree with that. Now, if you don't want to do the handshake, that's fine. I know in some sports, it's customary to do it, but you're not obligated to. It's not like it's written in the rules where it says, in order for the match to begin, you must shake your opponent's hands. There's been some videos that have gone viral in which a football team showed up and you have captains that'll come out for the coin toss. And all three of the other opponents for this one team walked out with their hands behind their back as if to indicate, we're not going to shake your hand. And the refs made them do it. Or the refs was going to assess a penalty or a forfeiture or something like that. And I'm like, I don't believe refs can do that. Show me where in the league handbook that a ref can assess a harsh penalty like that for choosing not to shake an opponent's hand. I do, like I said, I believe in sportsmanship. I believe it should be done as customary. But I'm not going to penalize you for not following customs. You just have to deal with whatever karma comes to you should you lose, like what happened in that one team, or in the manner of this dude right here. He showed up, did the hard handshake, and I like her reaction. She's just like, dang, I know I'm about to whoop your ass, but you know what? I'm going to smile before I do it. A silent assassin. I love how she handled that. She must have had either a good coach or older brothers at the house or a father that's like, hey, you know what? Young boys might come out here and try to do this, but I'm going to need you to show his ass up. And she goes, okay. All right, I got you. She benches him up. He tries to go in for the kill. And look, he even like went after her face for a little bit, right? Tried to overpower her with the strength. Hey, I'm stronger than you. I got you. I got you, little girl. You mine now. Except, nope. She slipped up under him and went behind her and finished him. That's what I'm talking about. But the fact that he did all that, lost, and is crying, I love it. I love it. Shout out to Susan. She said, hey, it's for horses. I'm a unicorn. I appreciate you popping in, Susan. Always good to see you. Captain Wayne Baker just said she was like, Baba, Baba. 100%. So I told you before, I only play tennis. You should also play. Never mind. I'm not going to say that. Let's see. Amy's in the building. Did I miss a conversation? Because Amy said, hey, y'all, and a comma, but I don't see nothing else after the comma. Followed by Susan said, no thanks, Amy. I'm straight. Very. Amy might want to figure out otherwise. I'm joking, y'all. Look, I'm joking. I'm joking. We're here to have a good time. I don't mean to offend anybody. I'm just here to have a good time. All right. Now, let's talk about this. We had some interesting rivalry week matchups that had occurred in college football. All right. My favorite of all is the Iron Bowl because I support the Alabama Crimson Tide. That is my team. And if you take a look at everything that happened over this weekend, there were a couple of indicators that there could have been some major upsets that had occurred, right? Georgia Tech almost lost to Georgia, and they should have. Georgia Tech's quarterback was eating their ass up. Yet in the end, it took a fumble that had occurred with, I want to say, less than 2 minutes left in the game with Georgia down 1. They recovered it, sent it into overtime, and we went through 8 freaking overtimes in that game in which Georgia beat Georgia Tech 44-42. Talk about a game, all right? The stakes of it was extremely clear. Georgia needed to win to pretty much secure themselves a spot in the college football playoffs. Had they lost and other things played out the way that they had played out, like Alabama winning, Clemson losing actually helped Alabama out, right? I'm always for Alabama. Let's just get this straight now. I was wanting the ultimate scenario that had allowed for Alabama to get in. Alabama just needed to beat Auburn, which they did mighty handily too. And other teams needed to lose. Like one of the biggest ones that had occurred. Actually, I'll talk about that one later. Syracuse was probably the second biggest upset that occurred, but it doesn't have a playoff implication in my opinion, with Miami losing. Okay. Cam Ward came in and he dominated at first, right? But towards the last half of the season, Cam's been looking real bad. And Miami's defense, or lack thereof, is atrocious. It's almost like they have really great players on offense to where they can dominate. But then when that defense shows up, it is 100% trash. Okay. I'm going to talk about the Michigan and Ohio game here in a second. I actually have a video for that too. I have a video for that as well. Let me see if I can get back up here. All right. With everything that had occurred, the projected champions for going into the college football playoffs, Oregon's projected to win. Texas should win the SEC. SMU is what's interesting. They've came into the ACC and swept everybody, losing only one game, and are favored to win the ACC. Imagine that. All right. Imagine that. But there is a scenario, because right now Alabama's projected as with like a 25% chance of making it in. It's not zero. And I'm talking about the college football playoffs. It doesn't matter who wins the SEC. But they could come in as a 11th seed because of everything that went down. Like Clemson losing to South Carolina at home. That was bad. That was bad. All right. Then, of course, the one that everybody was talking about, the one that ended in a brawl and some fines, Michigan beating Ohio State by 3. If you're a fan of defense, then that game probably had you salivating. If you're a fan of high-scoring affairs like that Georgia Tech game, then this game bored you. But look, a football enthusiast, a defensive-minded person would say that was some good football. I was bored in that game. All right? 100% bored. And Michigan beating Ohio State doesn't really have that big of an impact on how the college football playoffs were going to end up shaking up, unless Michigan came in there and beat them like 50-something to 0. It wasn't going to knock the Buckeyes out completely. But that was some stuff that had occurred here, and I'm going to see if I can get the video up as well. Susan said, War Eagle, Susan, I thought we were cool. I thought we were cool. It looks like I was wrong. Let me see. Is this the right video? Why is my stuff not coming up? Okay. Well, I'm just going to have to show this another way then. How can I get this up here? We are going to then just display the screen because my video decided it did not want to play. And why am I keeping your comment? I don't keep up comments that say War Eagle. Bring that down. Susan, you're fired. All right, I'm going to share my screen instead. And I'm just going to read the article. Big Ten finds Michigan and Ohio State for the on-the-field melee following the football game. All right? And I can't do this one because it is behind the paywall. In short, the league office has decided to fine both schools $100,000 each for violating the conference sportsmanship policy. As well as there was some pepper spray that came out on the field. Some people were reporting some injuries. I'm going to see if I can go find this on a different platform. All right. Because it's something that you don't want the opponent to do. You don't want them to go take their flag, walk into the middle of the field, and plant the flag. That's considered 100% disrespectful. And I'm going to see if I can find a good video of the fracas. All right, here we go. This one should be a good one. I'm going to have to play it muted. Let's see. Here we go. Here's a video here. I'm going to have to mute it. Hope we don't get copyright stricken. And play the video while it's muted. This is what occurred. All right, I'm gonna stop sharing that. Come over here, share this screen, and go right here. All right, so you've got Michigan trying to come in, wave the flag, and plant it. And here goes number 24. All right, all you need is one person from the other team to come up and say, "No, you ain't about to do that. You ain't about to do that." And here we go, punches are flying. Boom, right here. This is not sportsmanship. Susan said, "We cool." That's what I'm talking about, Susan. All right. But hey, if I get you to say roll tide for me, though, I'd appreciate it. Shout out to David Cunningham. David's in the building. All right. So you had one, all it takes is one person to set it off. And it looked like number 24 was the one that set it off for Ohio State. And then once he did, you had number 12 and big number 92 up here, right? Punches are thrown. Somebody hits the ground down here. All right. You see big number 91 come and tackle somebody. I wonder if number 91 had any tackles during that game or if this was his first tackle. And his helmet's off. That's the wrong way to be, is to be in a fight playing football with no helmet. All right. Susan said, I was accepted to Auburn, but went to UAH. It's personal. Auburn for life. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. UAH, huh? You went to UAH. That is University of Alabama, Huntsville. I'm from Anniston, Alabama. I don't know if we've already talked about this, Susan. I'm originally from Alabama, right? And UAH, I know exactly where UAH is at. I'm from Anniston. It's not too far driving wise anyway, about 2 hours and some change. I know where UAH is at. I have folks up there. And look, who are these people? And they were able to successfully snatch the flag away, which if you're going to do that, protect the flag at all costs. You don't lose your mascot. You just simply don't do that. You don't lose your mascot in all of this. Pop Culture Warrior said exactly. How dumb is it to throw punches against guys in helmets? I mean, I'm not going to do it and get injured, right? So this is the melee that had occurred. It wasn't the only fight that had occurred during Rivalry Week. Rivalry Week is a week in which things are flared up. You want to say you hate the other team, but it's just a way to get you riled up to play harder against your opponent. In college, I almost wonder how much of that really is non-existent, though, because I listened to Pat McAfee on the Pat McAfee Show talk to the great, legendary Hall of Fame coach Nick Saban, and they eventually got into the whole NIL deal and how that has messed up college football. On one hand, if the adults, like the coaches, can come in and leave and not really stick to a contract and bounce to something better, I don't get why the players who are putting their lives on the line for a sport and an education, right? Because these are, you're going to college to essentially gain an education. I kind of don't see why the young men and women can't do the same thing, right? Make money off of their name, image, and likeness. But it has limited the ability for a coach and a team to try to keep those core group of people together. Because if you're a starter or you feel like you should be a starter, but you're not getting any playing time, you can jump into the transfer portal, right? And cross your fingers that another coach or another school sees value in you to, snatch you out the transfer portal, offer you a scholarship to come and play for them. Where's the loyalty in staying someplace? Now, some people want to talk about loyalty because they want to try to do everything that they can to keep you in their program. Some young men need that, right? Some young men, despite them being talented, probably should be able to develop a little bit more, come into their third or fourth year, and be able to develop and reach their peak potential to maximize their own personal brand or whatever to help the team win and go to the next level if that's in the cards for you. Some people need that. Some don't. Like if you take a look at a player like Travis Hunter for Colorado, Travis Hunter is going to be a young man that I don't think he should win the Heisman, but we can't discount what he's doing on both sides of the football as a starter against good competition, right? Like if he's doing this at Jackson State, it's like, well, he's a 3-star or a 5-star athlete playing amongst a lot of 2-stars. Of course he's going to look good. But with them jumping up to Colorado and playing a lot more seasoned teams, right? Teams that have a better collective group of people, Travis Hunter's play definitely stands out. Should he win the Heisman because he's doing good on both positions, even though he's not leading? I don't think so. I don't even know if he's top 5 as a receiver. Now, if he's top 5 as a receiver and he's sitting somewhere in the middle with his defensive stats, like pass deflections, interceptions, his thrown to rate and coverage rate and things of that nature, you might be able to convince me to change my mind. All right. But with everything that had occurred this weekend, I don't believe that Bama's not out of it. I'm really curious to see how the college football playoffs shake out. I was able to look at and see that the rankings came out, right? So the rankings came out, and in the coaching poll, Bama's number 11, so they moved up 2. But in the college football playoffs, let's see if they got that out here yet. No, I don't see that out yet. I want to say that comes out tomorrow. Then there's a chance that Bama can make it in there, that they could go out and win enough votes or whatever from the selection committee, which includes 6 former coaches and players in the group, 6 sitting athletic directors that are representing the 7 conferences, and 1 former sports writer. Okay. These are the people that are going to make up. The sports writer is a guy. Let me see where the sports writer comes from. They don't state where the sports writer comes from. Oh, here we go. Kelly Whiteside. Let me see Kelly Whiteside's background. Kelly Whiteside is a former associate professor from Montclair State. Okay. Let's see. How long has she been a writer? Oh, hey. She's been a writer for a while. She's a graduate of Rutgers University and Columbia Journalism School. Hey, Kelly, do you accept bribes? Can I send you $20 to help nudge Alabama into the college football playoffs? Oh, man. David Cunningham's in the building, said we all know all the top schools have been paying their top players under the table for years. Nick Saban does not like that the playing field is now equal. Hey, I wish I could play the video. I think Pat McAfee definitely would copyright strike us, so I can't play the video, but I liked it. It was a 23-minute video total, but 5 minutes talking about how Coach Saban doesn't believe that NIL and the transfer portal ultimately helps the schools, and he doesn't believe it's good for the players. He doesn't believe that it's good for the players. And because I'm a guy that can see both sides of the coin, if I were to take a hard stance and choose one side, if you said, King, I'm going to give you $10,000 to pick which side of the argument you'd like to be on, the players or the coaches, I'm going to side with what Coach Saban says. And that might be self-serving for him as a coach, but his track record is proven for how he develops young men, not just on the field, but off the field as well. One of the things you hear a lot of former players talk about is, how he instills values that they take off the court. Derrick Henry has talked about that very publicly on some of the other podcasts who are out there. Susan said, nope, I don't accept bribes. And David said, King, they need to give Travis Hunter his flowers. He's on the field most of the time on both offense and defense. He is. He is an exceptional talent to do it as young as he is and be able to play well on both sides of the ball. He's earned his flowers, man. Don't get me wrong. But I don't see him winning the Heisman. I saw a side-by-side comparison of Ashton Genty and Derrick Henry, and I'm going to see if I can bring this graph up. But it was interesting to note what Ashton Genty's stats were compared to Derrick Henry when he won his. And I'm going to see if I can find that image, because he's basically demolishing what Derrick Henry did in every way possible, but he's not being talked about the way that Derrick Henry was in his Heisman year. Like, it was very early when people were talking about Derrick Henry winning the Heisman. And while people are acknowledging Ashton's accomplishments, he's not on the Heisman buzz the way that Derrick Henry was. And man, I really wish I could find it. Here it is. I found it. I'm going to bring this up here. All right. I'm going to bring this up here. Okay. And he did this in less games played, sitting out more games than Derrick Henry did. All right. I'm going to bring this up. And here we go here. I'm going to make this bigger. That's what she said. Okay. Through 11 games, Ashton's carried for less, gained more rushing yards, had more rushing touchdowns, a significant bump in yards per carry from 5.9 to 7.5. And he was 187.5 yards per game versus Derrick Henry's 152. Now, some of the arguments that people have had in support of Derrick Henry is saying that Derrick Henry did it against better competition and that Boise State don't play nobody. And while that's not wrong, I still don't think that it dismisses how well Ashton is playing, as well as how he could have had a significant amount more rushing yards than this, but has sat out the second half and of some of these games in which Boise State was just blowing out teams. Okay. But the kid is good. I mean, he's got that vision, that speed, and that strength to be able to just get out there and dominate. Okay. Like this content creator here says, Teependale. I know who that is. He's a guy that's got almost 300,000 followers on Instagram. He said, we got a 2-8 Wyoming highlight. Derrick Henry did it in the SEC. And there were several other people in the comment section that talked about this as well, saying that Boise State didn't play anybody. I'm more partial to the running backs. And in my opinion, I think that if he's not first or second, then the Heisman has this wrong. And let me go look at what the current Heisman odds are, and then we're going to go up to the pro football and then end the show. Current Heisman odds. Let's see what they are. I need the most updated Heisman odds. All right, we're going to go here and looking at, no, I need this to be, that's FanDuel's. Let me come back out here. See if I can get the Heisman odds real quick before I move on. All right, right now the current Heisman odds have, really? Okay, yeah, they have. Yeah, they have Ashton Gentry leading. Okay. Travis Hunter is. Wait, did he start as a minus 10,000? This doesn't make sense. I don't like the way that this website is displaying things. Okay. Let's see if I can find a site that displays the odds better. We'll talk about that next week. All right. Let's see. Let me check the comments and then we'll go to our next segment. Susan said, I know Aniston. That's halfway between Huntsville and Birmingham off of 431, right? Yes, kind of. Like Huntsville's here, Birmingham's here, Aniston's like here because it's directly east of Birmingham. I'm actually going to be down in Alabama over the Christmas break, doing a little bit of a southern tour. David Cunningham said King. Nope, already said that one. Columbia University's basketball team is 8-0. They beat Villanova. Really? I didn't see that news. Yikes. Hey, they go come out. I should go check and see what the odds are for them to make the tournament and win. Throw $50, see if I could turn $50 into a nice little chunk of change. Remember when Bobby Boucher showed up at halftime and the Mud Dogs won the Bourbon Bowl? Bobby Boucher, absolutely. Oh man, hey, I appreciate that laugh. Thank you. What other comment do we have here? Most sports writers probably will not vote for Travis Hunter to win the Heisman because they don't like Coach Prime. Look, this one sports writer looks like she would be a Coach Prime supporter, if you will. She absolutely looked like she would support Coach Prime. All right. And we got an update on the 49ers score. In a snooze fest of a first half, David Cunningham has shared that the 49ers have a whopping 3 points, and Buffalo has a whopping 7 points. It is in the second quarter with 9 minutes and 26 seconds left to halftime. Thanks for that update, David Cunningham. I always appreciate it. We have over 116 live viewers watching right now. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank y'all for tuning in on a Sunday night after Thanksgiving. I hope y'all's Thanksgiving was fantastic. I probably gained about 11 pounds over the holidays that I need to cool off. All right, let's get to the NFL and then we're going to close out today's show. Today's going to be a light show as we get through the holidays. Hope y'all are having a good time. As always, we appreciate you. Yep. All right, so let's just get this out the way. The Ravens lost. The Panthers had a chance to win and chose not to give Bucky Irvin a freaking football. But I'm sorry. They chose, the Buccaneers could have kept that game out of hand by giving Bucky Irvin the football. And the reason why I'm upset, even though Tampa Bay still won by 3 in overtime, is because I had Bucky Irvin in one of my fantasy leagues who went off. Yet I don't know if he was hurt or whatnot because they chose to ride White at the end of that game. And they still won, but I'm pissed that they didn't give it to Bucky Irvin, which could have helped me in one of my fantasy leagues. The Pittsburgh Steelers, what a shootout. What a shootout. That game ended up 44-38. A couple of turnovers in that game. The Steelers are leading the freaking division at 9-3 right now, 5-2 inside of the division. Russell Wilson went bananas. Was it a bad Bengals defense? As Russell Wilson had 414 yards, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 interception thrown. George Pickens is still a grown child. While he is really athletic, I believe his antics are going to cost the Steelers in a crucial game when it matters. And it's going to be the thing that everybody talks about. I want y'all to mark this. I am at the 48 minute mark on this. This is going to come back. Watch and see what I tell you. Like, I'm just everything about George Pickens. The guy's a grown kid. Apparently, he has a good heart, but I'm like, I don't know. The Steelers defense, I mean, they played okay. What really helped the Pittsburgh Steelers was the second quarter, in which they put up 20 points. And the game was a back and forth shootout. I loved it, right down to the last 2.5 minutes of the game, in which Joe Burrow took a 3-yard pass to Andre Iosivas. I don't even know if I said that right. Chris Boswell. If you had Chris Boswell as your fantasy kicker, you're happy. All right. What else happened? We had the Thanksgiving games. Dallas barely edged out the Giants. That game, while it had 47 points scored, nobody should be happy about the outcome. And really, it was a lose-lose situation. If the Giants won, then, people were going to be ragging on the Cowboys. But if Giants won, if Dallas won, my bad. Let me catch up with my brain. Then, which they did, then who cares? They beat up on a Giants team that just got rid of Daniel Jones and don't really have an offense to speak of. They were on technically their third string quarterback who didn't play bad. Let me go look at the box score. Drew Lock actually did play bad. He was 21 of 32 for 178 yards and interception, running the ball for 57 yards on the ground and a touchdown. He found rookie Malik Neighbors for 8 catches and 69 yards, but the offense looked bad. It looked bad. And Cooper Rush statistically played the same game that Drew Lock played. He was 21 of 36 for 195 and a touchdown. Didn't have a turnover as far as throwing a pick goes. But the big difference in this game, Dallas ran the ball better. Dowdle had 22 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. I don't understand what Dallas is doing with their running back field. They brought in Dalvin Cook, who, if you would have said Dalvin Cook from 5 years ago, you'd be like, oh, yeah, with Ezekiel Elliott from 5 years ago. And you're like, oh, man, but no, Rico Dowdle is leading the backfield. 22 carries, 112 yards, and a touchdown. All right. What else happened? Kansas City, they won 19-17 over the Raiders. And I actually posted on my personal Facebook page about that game, in which a Steelers fan and a Chiefs fan started going at it. Did not see that coming. Green Bay destroyed the Dolphins. The Colts barely escaped over the Patriots by a point. Let's talk about this Los Angeles game. Oh my. Kirk Cousins went 24 of 39 for 245 and threw 4 interceptions. And the Chargers, who are 8-4, barely won against the Atlanta Falcons 17-13. I don't know how you don't make a team pay when your quarterback throws 4 interceptions and you only win by 4. Good defense or really pedestrian offense. The Chargers they're 8-4 on the strength of their defense because that offense is trash. Could they be like the Broncos, in which the Broncos won with Peyton Manning, where Peyton Manning was just okay and the offense was just okay, but they had a world beater defense? The Chargers would have to get past the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC, and the way that Kansas City Chiefs just seem to use up luck on their 4-leaf clover, I just don't think that it's going to happen. Coach, I'm about to talk about the Jets. The Jets, who looked great early on against Seattle, after the first quarter, looked like a team that just didn't want to be there. And they were playing at home too. Seattle ultimately won the game 26-21. And when asked about it, I wish I could play the video. Aaron Rodgers basically said that there's 10 other people that are out there and that he's not to be the one to be blamed. Yet, the defense picked off Aaron Rodgers for a 92-yard interception return in the second quarter. I'm sorry. Yeah, that happened in the second quarter. That kind of like knocked the wind out of the Jets. And the Jets didn't do anything after that. They were up 21-7 going early into the second quarter and then fell flat after that pick. I think that the Aaron Rodgers experiment is done. The Jets fired their coach and still ain't won, but I don't think they won a game since they fired their coach. All right? Tragic. Just tragic. And then we get to the rest of the other games that had occurred this week, in which none really stands out. None really stands out. The Rams struggled against the Saints. Jaden Daniels scored 4 total touchdowns against the Tennessee Titans. That game ended up being 42-19, and everybody's going to be talking about Jaden Daniels now. All right, the last game that we're going to talk about here, and then we're going to get out, is the Jacksonville-Houston game. Houston won that game by 3, but not without some controversy. And I do have this video up here. So Trevor Lawrence is the quarterback for the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he went into a slide and got demolished. All right, got demolished. And some people believe that the hit was justified. Others thought it was straight trash. All right, I'm going to bring up this screen here, and I want y'all to tell me if y'all believe that this hit was justified or not. And I got to mute it and play it here. So here we go. Trevor Lawrence is running. All right. He looked like he's possibly about to slide. Okay, so I'm going to pause it right here. And if you take a look at the defender, he's still upright. But I'm going to hit play, and I want y'all to see where it occurs. He could have had a juke move at this point. All right, but I'm going to fast forward here a little bit. Now, remember, this is a guy that the player that's involved in this for Houston, Al-Shahir, he's known for kind of being dirty. He's kind of like the more up-to-date Vontaze Burfict. He slid and, gave Trevor Lawrence the business. And let's see if I can go back and play it again and then pause it. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just play it through. And when he did it, he's kind of sitting here like, what? What I do? There was a question in the chat. Did his soul pop out a little bit? I think so. Watch this. When you get to that point, you really can't stop. And it didn't look like he was going to slide early on, but he was already kind of in that launching position. Now, on one hand, you can say, well, he launched low, so he knew what he was doing. I'm kind of giving him the benefit of the doubt here. And it definitely caused a brawl. It caused a brawl. They went after their quarterback. He got ejected. The NFL also had something to say about this as well, in which they came out and during the game, the referee gave 2 ejections, stated after the game, he said that Al-Shahir was tossed for an illegal hit on the quarterback, unnecessary to the neck and head area. There was another player, Jones, who was tossed for throwing a punch after leaving the bench area. Okay. The referee also addressed why other Houston players were not ejected during the chaos, because you're not supposed to leave the sideline to join the scuffle on the opposite end of the field. But as you're looking here, there was the ref said that there was no observed action that rose to the level of being disqualified. they were mostly trying to restrain other players. So Houston players that came off was trying to restrain their own. Jacksonville players were trying to come and restrain their other players. I believe that because of this player's history, that he's going to get suspended for sure. I don't believe any fines have came out yet. I didn't see anything just before we went live that that had talked about any fines. And but once you get that rep of being a shady player, then you really can't leave it. You can't leave it. Now, David Cunningham, we are about to end the live stream, but before we do, I like to play videos by Jermaine Funny Main Johnson, and this is going to be how Alabama players watch the current week. So I'm going to share that screen here and then look for David Cunningham's message while we close out the show. Let's get over here. Let me share screen and play this video.
Like I said, Bama is a big rival team. Every rival team I played, I never lost to, and I will not lose to Bama while I'm here.
Oh,
I mean, he is a good quarterback. He's fast, but I mean, he's not faster than me. I'm pretty just that. Like, he will not get out that box this week.
Okay, so Jalen Milroe won't get out the box. This is what an Auburn player said.
Is that 4 in a row? Ooh, Ryan Day. And how much money did they spend to build this team? 20? Like 20 plus some. Well, I mean, you know, it's their business. But Caleb, if you ever want to come back home, the key is under the map. Alright, South Carolina, not even mad that y'all are doing well. Only because it benefits us. So good win, Gamecocks. And anytime Clemson loses, we'll enjoy that too. Oh, Syracuse, thank you. We ain't cared about nothing happening in New York since Joe Namath was there. But paved the way for us. Finally, somebody in orange worth cheering for. Ooh, 2 losses in a row for Gig'em, huh? Maybe they need that 13th man. Good Lord, Mississippi State. Y'all couldn't win 1 SEC game this year? Ain't heard a cowbell all season. And yay, Ole Miss, another year not making the playoff. Alright, Bama. No guarantees for a playoff, but this the Iron Bowl. Let's get this dub just because, and then we'll see what happens. All right, come on, big dog. You got to hold on to that one. Early fumble. We can bounce back, though. Now, they driving, but put it in park. They missed the field goal. Milroe! And who was that chasing him? Was that Mr. He Ain't Fast As Me? Karma in the first quarter. Sir, next time. Shh. Oh, they going for it on 4th? Absolutely not. What do they think this is? This ain't the dryer sheet bowl. It's the Iron Bowl. Milroe. You got to throw it to the guy in this color jersey. We'll give him a little field goal. We'll give him a little 3. But we'll take 7. Gone, Jalen. And a sack fumble. Okay, Lyman, you got to block his weak side. And Milroe, you didn't feel that? Spidey senses ain't go off a little bit? Second half, Bama, tighten up. Big Haynes. And Milroe, with his 3rd TD today, run it up. Run it up. Y'all was gonna let him score. I wasn't telling them to run it up. Another fumble. Bruh, don't do this to me today. We'll take it. You don't want it? Big Bray, not the little Bray. We see you, 18. He quietly been a beast all season. One more for the road? Absolutely. Xavier Brown getting up there for the pick. Oh, it's so beautiful. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, 5 Iron Bowl victories in a row. It feels like the universe is universing once again. Any day you can beat Auburn is a good day. Haven't had the best season, but we are still mathematically in the playoff hunt. Time to rest up, let everybody play their conference championships, and then we'll see. But if you ask me, are we one of the best 12 teams in the country? Absolutely. Who should we be rooting against next week? We don't even worry about it right now. Let's enjoy this Iron Bowl victory and let the chips fall where they may. But I got a feeling we gonna be all right. Can't make no guarantees. I'm just saying. I feel good. Woo! Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Now, There was a question that came in, and then we're going to close out the show. David Cunningham said, what about Dean Miller from Kansas giving Shedeur Sanders the business below the knees? I saw that hit. That was absolutely 100% unnecessary. And I want to play the video here. Let me see if I could bring this up without having to sign in and do all of the stupid stuff. All right. Yep, I could bring that up here. So let's bring that clip up here and then close out the show. I thought it was unnecessary. Okay, so I'm gonna share the screen and play it right here. He throws it. That was completely unnecessary. To me, that looked like a jealousy hit more than anything else. And I'm glad that Sanders didn't have any unnecessary injury that came from this. And I was also thankful that Colorado didn't immediately go out there and start a ruckus, because that could have. Look, Colorado was giving Kansas the business. All the way business. All right. And that could have ended in a tragic injury and could have actually ended his career, or at least this season anyway, but it didn't. And Colorado was able to go out there and take care of business. And Kansas didn't deserve to be in that game at all. And this play should not have happened. And Shedeur came out and he had some comments about it. I'm gonna stop sharing the video here. He came out about it, and while it looked bad, and Sanders was definitely not happy, he came out in the post-game press conference and said, I don't know how that's legal overall, but I understand it. It is what it is. There's a couple of plays like that, but yeah. He was asked about his opinion of the hit after the game. But other people came out there, especially RG3. He's very vocal. I love what RG3 does on his X page and everything like that. Go give him a follow. If you want to be entertained and have some sports stuff, follow us, but also go follow RG3. RG3 came on and said, at any level of football, that is a late and dirty hit on Shedeur Sanders. No place for that in the game. And another ex-user wrote, if Shedeur's cleat was in the ground, it could have been a life-altering injury. Warren Schaap, who was a hard defender back in his heyday as well, came out and said that how is that not roughing the passer? I think it was a dirty hit. I think it was dirty. I also think it was intentional. I was talking about this earlier. Troy Polamalu, right? He played for the Steelers, had that long flowing hair. His hair wasn't short. In the league, in the NFL anyway, you can tackle a person by their hair. It is not illegal to do it. You can't horse collar somebody by grabbing them and bringing them down by their football pads. But if somebody's running past you and you're reaching to grab them and you grab their hair, you can pull them down by their hair. Will it start a fight? More than likely. Does it lead to a fine, or is it illegal? Or will you get an unnecessary roughness? Nope. But think about this. I can't recall a time in which anybody ever tried to bring Troy Polamalu down by his hair. Why not? Because they respected him. Nobody ever tried it, but they respected him. I don't believe that people respect the Sanders kids on any capacity. And it would be hard for me to, even if I was their own teammates, right? They flaunt their wealth very openly. And while they are wealthy because of their father, right? I don't know how you can motivate me to come and play for them unless I was coming to play for Coach Prime. But then here's my question. Coach Prime follow his sons everywhere. You don't think Coach Prime is going to stick around in Colorado once his sons graduate? I don't think so. I believe that Coach Prime has intentionally spent time with his kids at every level, from youth to high school to college, from Jacksonville State to Colorado. And once one or both both of his kids graduate and make it to the league, he's done as a coach there. I think if you happen to get in and you're a starter, it can raise your stock. Absolutely. But if you're going there thinking that you're going to play 4 or 5 years with Coach Prime, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it at all. Let me see if we have some comments here before I close. Pop Culture Word said, who tackles defensive players? My point in stating that with Troy Polamalu is that, yes, Troy plays on the defensive side of the house, but there were times, because he had several interceptions, that he was getting chased. Nobody tackled him by his hair, although they could have. There has been defenders that have been tackled by their hair. Let me see if I can look this up real quick. NFL players on defense tackled by their hair. Let's look this up. All right. While it's still not legal to tackle a player by the hair, the rules make an exception when it's not contained within their helmet or uniform. I don't have an example. You're lucky. You are lucky. I can't find one. But he said, why not? Because he was on defense. Yeah, no. I was saying that folks didn't do it because they had respect for him. Plain and simple. Like, they could have, but they wouldn't dare do it. They wouldn't dare do it because they respected him. Let me see. Let me go back here. Captain Wayne Bacon there said, my cousin still limps because his knee got destroyed like that. Man, I'm sorry to hear that. I am sorry to hear that. I hate it for your cousin. I am glad that I escaped all of the years that I played ball with no major injuries. None. I had my bone in my foot right here that was broken because it got stepped on real hard. That healed, and I was playing the game 2 weeks later. I think I missed 1 week, and then I played the week after that. But no ligaments, no ACLs, no MCLs. Now I'm missing cartilage in one of my knees, but it's normal wear and tear and running from my time in the military. So that is what it is. All right, let's get David Cunningham's closeout words up on the screen, and then we are going to end tonight's show. I had that I was going to talk about the NBA Cup, but we still got some time to talk about the NBA Cup news. And for those of y'all not familiar with the NBA Cup is essentially an in-season tournament that the NBA started doing last year that provides a little bit more excitement about the early games for the NBA. I think it was brilliant. They copied it from another sport and another league. It gives an incentive for teams to do well early, play, their starters and stuff early to try to win this in-season tournament trophy and extra money for their players and staff, right? So, and it doesn't follow the traditional you're in the same division and format. You're randomized into 6 different groups, right, within your same conference. And it can have players or people in markets that normally wouldn't see certain teams. It gives them the ability to see other teams and stuff as well in that market. So it's good overall, right? It doesn't incentivize this player rest stupid stuff that occurs from time to time because the NBA's a long season. And there's been some surprises right early on. And I was going to talk about that tonight, but I'm losing my voice because I didn't have my tea right before I went live. So let's read David Cunningham's comments, and then we're going to close the show. Right now, San Francisco is losing like I thought they would, 21-3. CQ, if you're still listening, I'm going to go play my game right when this show ends. So from David Cunningham to the viewers, things are heating up in both the college football and pro football. Hopefully things will shake themselves out soon. Thank you for tuning in to the WTF Nation Radio Sports Bar. It's snowing. Stay warm all and have a great week. And you even include emojis in there, a soccer ball, a baseball, and a tennis racket. That's what I'm talking about. Susan, roll tide. David, thank you for the kind words, sir. To everybody else, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. CQ said it's about damn time. Hey, I knew I was coming up on my 72-hour window, and you know how my Mondays are, so it is what it is. Hey, man, I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. Come back tomorrow as ICE returns for the Monday edition here at WTF Nation Radio.